Court meeting, August 15, 2023, now in session. Please stand for prayer. Stay standing. Mr. Hammond.
Would you bow with me, please? God of peace, mercy, and understanding, please bless these proceedings that are about to begin. Grant those involved true statesmanship. Give them the wisdom, integrity, and understanding necessary to make decisions that are in the best interest of our community. We're told in Scripture to do all things without grumbling or disputing, that we might be blameless in the midst of a crooked and twisted generation. May our conduct shine as your light in the world. May the scales of justice always weigh favorably in your sight. Please continue to bless our one nation under God for the remainder of eternity. In your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you please call
Justice Grima, Justice Nichols,
Here.
Justice Van Kuren,
Here.
Justice White,
Here.
Justice Reed,
Here.
Justice Hutchings,
Here.
Justice Shipman,
Here.
Justice Brigham,
Here.
Justice McCullough.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Don't mind that.
I don't think I have one.
Any addition or changes to the minutes from July? Do you have a motion to accept the minutes?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Have a second to accept the minutes from July. All those for?
Aye.
Against? Treasurer's report.
Well, new this time around is Debbie and I attended the Association of Arkansas Counties conference last week in Rogers. Learned a lot of good things. The main one that we'll be acting on in the near future is obtaining sales tax rebates. This had been mentioned once before in another meeting, but they actually gave us procedure this time, and basically what it is any purchases the county makes that's over $2,500, where the invoice has the sales tax separated out, itemized out, we can go back on the DFA website, download some forms, and request rebates on the sales tax that we paid on those items. So we will be doing that. Chop. As far as my regular report, I have to call myself out on an error right in the middle. On all fund balances, y'all may or may not have noticed that it says total county June 30. And I really did pull the June 30 number. I left the June 30 number in there. So the update on that is all fund balances as of July 31st.
Good morning, everyone.
Sorry.
Entertainment.
As of July 31st, our countywide fund balance was $11,215,285. The 2022 was correct. We had a difference of almost $1 million and a 9.5% increase over last year. Breaking that down to county general, we had $2,368,154. That was up 36.1% over July last year. County road, Main County Road, $1,073,219, which was down 11% from last year. Road sales tax, $1,102,412, up 44%. Fuel tax fund is the one where we just really started keeping the records. It's $157,870. It was showing a 430% increase over last year. But the overall average for all the road funds were up 16.9%. Sales tax revenues, 2023, let's see, we had the 1% was 139,919. It was up a little over $5,400 from last year for a 4.1% increase. The 1/4% jail maintenance tax, 50,625, up 1,969 from last year. 0.5% jail bond, 101.7, double that, so 101,250, a little over 3,900 more than last year. And overall, 1% sales tax, $936,395. Jail maintenance, the 1/4%, $338,805, and the 0.5%, $677,610. Overall increase over last year, 3.5%.
All right, do we have
Any
any questions?
questions?
Yes, sir.
The rebate, does that come back to general funds or general revenue?
What we have to do is we have to go back, we have to pull the individual claims and the invoices, and the rebates will be prorated back to the entities that originated the funds.
Is that just for this year, or can we expect that in out
Now,
years?
here's the cool thing, we can go back a whole year, so we'll be going back,
24, 25, out years, can we expect that now?
yeah, I'll keep going forward, yes, sir.
So that will show as revenue in the budget.
Yeah, yes, we should, yeah.
We'll have plenty of time to talk about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
That, along those same lines, is there any estimation on how much revenue you think that'll generate?
Ooh, not just yet.
Has
I just got the
any
information,
county
so-
talked about?
Yeah,
What
as
they
a
were-
matter of fact, the sample that we got,
Selena's a class 3 county, and they bring in anywhere from $80,000 to $120,000 a year.
yeah, this example
How
was
much was
actually from Janae over in Baxter County.
Not trivial.
She had $6,000 in so far, so she's
Selena-
probably just getting started too.
Which if we do it monthly, I think we're looking at trying to do it monthly instead of like annually. Because a lot of the treasurer's consensus was that annually was really overwhelming.
Okay.
So doing it monthly, and maybe it's something we could put on the report or something, monthly treasurer's report.
All right, yes, sir.
We'll be in budget negotiation by the end of September, so will we have any better numbers by then?
That's so, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any more questions? Sheriff's report?
You should have the report before you, the sheriff's office and the detention center. We reserved court collections this month in the sheriff's office for $7,631. Circuit court restitution was $6,244. District court collections was $1,679. Total bailiff hours for this last month was 94, and this month was 94, last month was 34. Total hours transports, we transported several, and we utilized 128 hours and 20 minutes for transport time. And our sex offenders, we currently still have 78 in the county. We're going to impression you, a couple were fixing to move out, but apparently they hadn't moved yet. The average daily population of the jail was 51. The high population last month was 56, and the lowest point we had 47. The average cost of the meal, which is interesting to me on a month-to-month basis, this past month, the average cost was $1.33 a meal. And that is up from the previous month, but there was 5 months or 5 weeks that was reported on this. So it added a week to it. Department of Corrections stole the state reimbursements for state inmates. Looks like we had $2,076 received.
we have not received some of the money that we are due because of the end of the year, June 30th was the end of the fiscal year for the state, July 1, and they're running a little behind getting this paid back. Total miles driven for the month, the deputies was 23,156. The gallons of fuel that we used was 1,623, which they had an average of 14.26 miles per gallon. And on the metro side, they had a total of 4,742 miles driven, used 357 gallons, and their miles per gallon averaged 13.27. The sheriff's office has brought two ordinances to the table tonight. One of them is addressing the Corps of Engineers money that in April, the Corps of Engineers approached us about doing park patrol, and we agreed to do it, and they have paid us for the park patrol that was done in May, June, and July, and they'll pay us in August, but that money is sitting in a fund right now, and we can't pay the deputies out of it. I was naive enough to think that if somebody gave me $100, I could pay the deputies 75 of it and not have to move a lot of things around. But once it goes into the Corps of Engineers fund, y'all gotta move it out so it can be spent. It was a learning curve for me. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
The ones who are doing the patrolling, they get their normal rate of pay, correct?
No.
Okay, why
No,
not?
No, it's, the rate of pay for the deputies that are going up, let me back up, the core contract was $43 an hour.
Okay,
And so the county's gonna get $43 an hour. We told the deputies that we pay them $28 an hour to go patrol. The sheriff's office, or the county, I'm sorry, for the fuel purchase and the use of the vehicle usage. It's come out to, that they'll get the rest of it, it'll go back in the county.
Yes, ma'am.
they're not getting overtime, are they? Is this in addition to their regular patrolling?
This is well, it's not, it's just their time going and working the park patrol.
So they work Monday through Friday. If they're willing to go patrol on Saturday and Sunday, then it's a different.
Well, the deputies that are going, or have been going on their days off, like if they work 4 days that week and they're off Sunday and Monday, they're the ones that's going to do it. So
They're getting a straight $28 an hour,
Yes.
not getting any overtime.
No overtime. But, I mean, they hadn't got anything yet, we hadn't moved the money so we could pay. So they're still waiting to be paid.
Any more questions? Thank you, Sheriff. Do we have any questions for any of the reports submitted?
No.
All right. I'll proceed to the Personnel Committee.
No changes.
No changes? All right. Have a motion to accept the Personnel Committee minutes? We have a second?
Second.
I have a second to accept the minutes. All those for? Aye. Against? Budget Committee.
We met, I believe Marty had written the notes.
August 1st.
August the 1st. And we don't have any changes to those minutes, I don't believe, Marty.
Right.
All
I
right.
handed out copies to everybody on the court.
You get a motion to accept those minutes?
Second.
I have a second to accept the minutes for the Budget Committee. All those for?
Aye.
Against? Old business? All right. New business.
Ordinance 2386, which we received a the corrected copy of before the meeting. This is, I'm gonna read by title only.
I entertain a motion to read by title only.
I'll second that.
I'll make the motion.
All right, I got a motion and a second to read by title only. All those for?
Aye.
Against? All right, we'll read by title only.
This ordinance is to transfer money from unappropriated funds for expenses that were paid in 2023 for actual expenses incurred in 2022, since no cleanup ordinance was done.
Yes, sir.
Is it required that we have that clause that says since no cleanup ordinance was done? Like, is there a legal reason behind putting that clause in there? Which clause is it?
No.
What page are you on? 35? That one, that was the wording for the motion. On 35, it says, Section 1, to transfer monies from unappropriated funds for expenses that were paid in 23, for actual expenses incurred in 22, since no cleanup ordinance was done.
I don't know what's going on.
No, I don't have a motion to adopt this ordinance yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I get a motion to adopt?
I'll make a motion.
Get a second.
Second.
All right, all those for adopting? Against? All right,
Wait,
Well,
we're not voting on this.
no, adopting.
we're
We're
gonna,
gonna
No,
motion to
we're
adopt
not.
in order to have discussion.
Yes, sir.
okay, I think you made us nervous because we just voted on something.
I didn't.
No, I don't vote on the motion to adopt.
We've never done that before.
We haven't
Is this
never done
something
that
new?
before.
Okay.
We just made a motion and we seconded it, so it's open for discussion.
Right.
But you want to strike out the part that says since no cleanup ordinance was done.
That was my question, is that required to be in there?
I don't believe it's required to be in there, no.
Well, I would like to amend it and just strike that out. I just don't like the way that it sounds.
I'll second that.
All right.
Hang on.
Right.
Okay, this is the motion to amend. Justice Nichols,
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren,
Yes.
Justice White,
Yes.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Hutchings,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham,
Yes.
Justice McCullough.
Yes.
Okay. Now, motion to adopt. Justice Van Kuren,
Yes.
Justice White,
Yes.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Hutchings,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham,
Yes.
Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Nichols.
Yes.
Thank you. Transfer appropriation 2023-87. This transfers funds from 1,108 courthouse maintenance, fuel, oil, and lubricants, 1,500 emergency management safety fund, fuel, oil, and lubricants, 1,802, 700, 2007, sales tax, solid waste fund, fuel, oil, and lubricants, 1,419. I'm moving my place here, I'm sorry. 2007 coroner fund, fuel, oil, and lubricants, 30-2501, 2007 Marion County 911, fuel, oil, and lubricants, 1801, 2007 sales tax road fund, fuel, oil, and lubricants. In the amount of $1,210.84.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Yes, sir.
Does Am I reading this right, that it says from an account and it's transferring $0 from that account? On the 9-1?
Yes, please.
So yes, it does say $0. It's because they did not get any fuel from the road department in quarter two. So I guess it could have been left out of there, but I just wanted to put them in since they are one of the, departments that get fuel usually. Just in quarter two, they did not get any fuel.
If it's not required to be in there, I'd like to make a motion to amend it and strike that.
I'll second that.
Is that the whole section?
No, it's been on 911.
Look,
We have a motion in a second.
Judge, I'd like to clarify my motion.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to strike everything from where it says transfer all the way, both lines entirely. Not just the 0. I think there's confusion up here.
Correct. You want to strike the one before that says transfer from the 911 fund 3021 to 0501 and also transfer the amount to zeros.
Yeah, and the fuel and oil and lubricant, that whole section.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Can I ask for clarification as well? Do you want that taken out of the first paragraph as well,
Which one?
where it says that 911 fund?
Yes.
Okay. This is the vote on the amendment. Justice White?
Yes.
Yes. Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hutchings?
Yes.
Justice Shipman?
Yes.
Justice Brigham?
Yes.
Justice McCullough?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Motion to adopt. Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Hutchings?
Yes.
Justice Shipman?
Yes.
Justice Brigham?
Yes.
Justice McCullough?
Yes.
Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What ordinance number was that?
That was 87. Ordinance 2388. This is amending the procedures ordinance to request that the clerk distribute the packets 7 days prior to the quorum court meeting, no later than noon, when she would accept any reports or ordinances that need to be out in the packet.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Justice Hutchings?
Yes.
Justice Shipman?
Yes.
Justice Brigham?
Yes.
Justice McCullough?
Yes.
Excuse me. Justice Nichols?
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yeah.
Justice Reed?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2023-89. This reflects the postage that was used by other offices to be transferred back to the clerk.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham,
Yes.
Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Nichols,
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren,
Yes.
Justice White,
Yes.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Hutchins.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2390. This is the wage increase for the clerk's office.
Motion. Second.
Yes, ma'am.
It is with respect to the Quorum Court, I would like to delete sections 4 and 5 that are in your packet. And I would need a motion to amend.
Motion to amend, but I want a discussion.
I need a second first.
Second.
Two seconds. All in favor? Oh, no, I'm sorry, not yet.
How does that impact the totals that we're talking about on the first page? Explain why we're amending section 4.
I don't need that if I'm not going back to January.
Ah. Thank you.
Motion to adopt the amendment.
Motion. Second.
Wait, I've already got the first, second, I gotta vote. Justice Brigham
This is on the amendment?
on the amendment. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Nichols,
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren,
Yes.
Justice White,
Yes.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Hutchings,
Yes.
Justice Shipman.
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
I've already got that. Second one. I need- Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir.
We brought this up before at the budget meeting, and everybody pretty much knows how I feel about this. But I want to make this clear. There's 3 people listed on this form. 2 work in the recorder's office, and the other half is the clerk's office. And this should be split. The problem is, we're having 2 of them punished because one of them is trying to get, in my opinion, the price is too high. They need to split it. Take the 2, put them in one ordinance, and put the other one in the other ordinance. Yeah. It's like in the Senate or the court. Everything we hear is $13.50 is not a living wage. But we don't talk about how much money the other one is costing. That was always left out. It's always that we're bad because we're not giving a price to $13.50. $13.50 pays out in a year $28,080. When we add in all the things that we have, including the current insurance, all that, that price jumps up to $38,767. That being said, that doesn't cover going up to sick leave and your vacation time. $13.50 might not be a livable wage, but that's putting about $38,000 a year that we're paying for. That's a lot of money. And that's just the smaller ones. When you start getting into $17.50 an hour, then you're setting a wage height that everybody else is gonna want. We have to hold it down to a set, somehow get it down to a normal range. And that's been my problem all the way through here, and that's why I vote the way I vote. So, I'm go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to point out to Justice White that I have reduced that It was 1860 and I have reduced it down to 1760.
Any more discussion?
This is on the motion to adopt. Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Nichols,
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren,
No.
Justice White,
No.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Hutching,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham.
No.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, is that answer?
It failed. Ordinance 2391. This is to appropriate the reimbursement from the state in the amount of $934.21 for the purpose of the jury, and to add 25,000 to jurors and witnesses and in unappropriated money from county general.
Motion adopted.
Second.
Any discussion? Justice Nichols,
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren,
Yes.
Justice White,
Yes.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Hutching,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham,
Yes.
Justice McCullough.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2392, this is a wage increase in the assessor's office from 1450 to 1750. And 1650, I'm sorry. 1350 to 1650. And $13 to $16.
Motion.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Justice Van Kuren,
No.
Justice White,
No.
Justice Reed,
No.
Justice Hutching,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham,
No.
Justice McCullough,
No.
Justice Nichols,
No.
and Justice Van Kuren. Oh, I'm sorry, I already did. Motion failed. Thank you. Ordinance 2393. This is an appropriation ordinance. The assessor's office to appropriate $5,000 in machinery and equipment to purchase 4 new printers.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Was this keyed wrong or appropriated wrong, or what's the reason why that we're changing it from machinery equipment to small equipment?
I just didn't have enough money in my small equipment line item. And since it doesn't meet the capital outlay amount, I just transferred it over to a small.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I don't have a budget handy. Are those in the same category? The small engine or the small, machinery and equipment into small equipment? Is that in the same category?
In a different category, that's like one that's come here.
Okay.
The line item.
Justice Nichols,
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren,
Yes.
Justice White,
Yes.
Vicky say yes.
Say yes.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Hutching,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham,
Yes.
Justice McCullough.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2394. This court acknowledges and affirms that it is the responsibility of the county to disperse to the county payroll system a professional development recognition payments funded by the state of Arkansas to qualifying personnel who actively work with property taxes. This would be in the amount of $538.25.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Justice Van Kuren,
Yes.
Justice White,
Yes.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Hutching,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham,
Yes.
Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Nichols.
Yes.
Ordinance 2395 is that no revenue was appropriated or accounted for in the 2023 Marion County budget by the Marion County Quorum Court for Fund 3046 Corps of Engineers. And this will be in the amount of $13,760.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just one thing on that, Sheriff, that I kind of object to, the wording Marion County budget by the Marion County Quorum Court for the fund of Quorum. Kind of sounds like we left it out. Somebody left it out.
Somebody left it out, and I wasn't here to make sure it was in there, so it's as much my fault as anybody else.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I guess then that begs the question, is it required to be in there? Can we amend it and take that out?
As to not pose a limit to anybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Then I make a motion that we amend it and take section 1 out, change section 2 on down to the appropriate number then.
Real hot ass question.
Do you have a question, sir?
I do, yeah. Oh, and that earlier, in your opening, sir, you said that the Corps was paying 43,
Yes, sir.
the deputy was getting 28, the remainder goes in the county fund?
Yes, sir.
That doesn't seem like the way these numbers break out. It looks like the county is getting 2,900 and 13,760. That definitely is not, those numbers don't appear on here the same way that you said earlier. It looks like,
It totaled up to 360 total hours for the year's work. If you multiply 360 by the 43, you'll come up to that 13,000, whatever it was. And then if you do the 28 and multiply that out by the time, or by the number of hours, it comes out to, the county will get their part and the deputy will actually get paid out of this section, not out of 1,800, but out of this section, for $28.
Time out real quick. Did we get a second on that? No, Claudia had the first. We get a second.
Second.
Okay. Sorry about that. Go ahead, sir.
Discussion.
Yes, go ahead.
Can you go over what we're changing?
I believe we're removing section 1.
Correct, that was mine.
You renumbering?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, no, I was trying to follow the sheriff. So you said if you take 360 and multiply it by 43?
Point of order.
Sorry.
I have a motion second on the table. Needs to be
It
carried
should come
out.
up to that
On the section
13,000.
one. Yes.
It's 320 hours, I apologize.
That's why I couldn't.
It just looks like the county is only getting 29.
We've got a motion and second on the table for the amendment part.
Justice White,
Yes.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Hutchings,
Yes.
Justice Shipman, Justice Brigham,
Yes.
Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Nichols,
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Since we voted on that, can we continue the discussion before we
Yes.
vote?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'd like to know if you got the answer you were looking for.
Well, I mean, it may just be, I'm not good at math, but it was said that the county gets 43, the deputy gets 28, the remainder goes to the general fund, but those aren't the numbers that are on this page. I mean, the 28 into 43 should be 35% going to the county. This has 21% going to the county. I don't know.
I don't know.
Is there anybody else checking that math right now?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Help me with, understanding your statement. I don't see percentages.
28.50 an hour.
I just did the math,
I'm sorry.
just did the math.
Oh, okay.
It's 28.50 an hour.
So are you just talking about the salary? I mean, the FICA match, the retirement match, the workers' comp, that also is going to the.
It's coming out of this 28.50. Okay, maybe my math is wrong, I don't know.
She doesn't know the justice being carried going over.
4640.
I'm not trusting.
But it's not 29.
What percentage was the county supposed to get, Sheriff, for fuel and oil?
Subtract 20 and.
Okay, the percentage that I came up with is 21%. So 21% of the money that we're appropriating is returned to the county for oil, fuel, and lube.
That's exactly right.
Okay,
If that's the problem, if that's the.
well, I guess I'm confused. I'm absolutely not trying to be argumentative. Your question specifically was what?
Well, I mean, if we take the 43, right, the 28, there should
Okay.
be 35% going to the county,
Okay, how much was the Corps of Engineers reimbursing?
43.
$43.
And the deputies are getting paid 28.50.
28.50.
28.50. Okay, so when you multiply 28.50 and the 65 hours, you get $1,852.
60 on
65 hours on the sheet here. 28.50. Multiply that by 65 hours in that top line, you get 1852.
Where is 28.50 at? Justice.
28.50 is,
You're getting paid per hour.
That's what they're determining. It's not on there.
yeah. But I'm trying to work with this gentleman, but I don't,
2,100, 13,700.
where did you come up with the?
It's 21. Sir,
Sir?
Yeah, I see the 21% with you, but where did you come up with the other percent?
the 28.50 and the 43. To come out to 66.
It's because the 28.50 doesn't include FICA retirement, workman's comp, possibly.
Are those not all going to the deputy?
Well, they would, but they wouldn't go in a salary and they wouldn't come to the county. So in their benefits that would be paid to the employee. So when you have the hourly rate of pay plus the benefits, which are FICA retirement, workman's comp, that's, I think, accounting for your discrepancy. So I think that when
It
you,
was just verbiage. So the deputy gets 2850 plus all the benefits on top.
Yes,
And then the
and-
county gets the remaining 20%.
21, yeah,
Got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
That's all.
You got, you
I think we're good.
like those numbers?
Yeah.
All right, I trust your numbers.
Don't say that.
I do. I always have.
Right.
This is a vote on the motion to adopt Justice White.
Before we
I'm
vote,
sorry, I thought you were.
can I say one more
Yes,
thing?
sir.
I'd like to thank him for that question,
Yes.
and that was a good question, and it broke up the monotony of this very boring meeting that we're having tonight.
Matt, please.
Justice White,
Yes.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Hutchings,
Yes.
Justice Shipman.
Yes.
Justice Grego,
Yes.
Justice McCullough.
Yes.
Justice Nichols,
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2396, this is a wage increase for the Marion County Sheriff's Department and the Detention Center. For 8 deputies, a CID investigator, and jail administrator, 15 jailers, and a transport officer, for the remaining 10 pay periods for 2023.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, sir.
Sure, but we're changing numbers in comp for 10 pay periods.
10 pay periods is left throughout 2024.
I have no idea how Tony's gonna do that. Numbers in comp is an annualized document. So if we're talking about 10 pay periods, that's not modifying numbers in comp. That's a distribution of salaries for those 10 pay periods. Do you see the distinction? That we're
So
gonna
we've
be,
already utilized
right,
3/4,
but it's
16 pay periods this year.
But if we change numbers in comp to these values,
Yes, sir.
that comes out to about $160,000 a year, of which we're going to expend, this amount of money.
Yes, sir.
This is the way that the Quorum Court used to do the budget.
Yeah, okay.
The numbers and comps used to be set in a window pay window.
Okay.
So whenever an employee started, the elected official or supervising, whoever's in charge of their pay, was able to start them off at a lower wage and then increase their wages towards the end. And we always set up our budget for the maximum amount that that individual could be paid.
Right.
And then it was up to the elected official on how much that they actually paid those employees. So although on paper, we would be expanding the budget, I'll take your word for it, the $160,000 a year. As deputies leave and new deputies return, they won't all be maxed out and at their maximum pay. And that pay that's not being utilized, I've spoken with the judge and the sheriff in the past. I had, it's too much discussion for right now, but I had a plan in the future moving forward on how we could utilize carryover out of his budget to supply him with cars. So I supported this, I support this, and also support budgeting for the maximum amount, because that, like I said, will come into play later when it comes to implementing a plan to finance cars from year to year. And also to address how the comptroller will adjust the pay, it will be no different than the way that he will adjust pay if anybody's given a raise. The sheriff just calculated how much to give the raise based on how many pay periods are throughout the rest of the year. So it's not going to be a challenge.
Well, I understand that, but I wanted to get that big number out there for negotiations in 24.
Well,
When we start the 24 budget, it's not going to be 56,000. It's going to be much greater. I support the ordinance as well. I wanted to make sure that we understood that 56,432 is not what we'll see in 24.
That's just the remainder of the year.
Right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Justice Figueroa.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Hutchings,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Brigham.
Yes.
Justice McCullough,
Yes.
Justice Nichols,
Yes.
Justice Van Kuren.
Yes.
Justice White.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we're on to discussions, Justice Van Kuren.
Yeah, I have a question. We've done with all the ordinances.
Yes, sir.
I've been asked by a couple of people about a contract between the county and rural fire departments.
Yes, sir.
And I guess my reply to them is I've not heard anything of it. And thinking back, and I could be wrong, but thinking back, I remember that Rick used to harass Judge Massey over a contract with Yellowville Metro and the county. And Rick was able to come up with a law that required all contracts that were being sent out for services to be able to be reviewed by the Quorum Court before they're sent out.
So there's an ordinance for that.
I could be wrong, but I thought it was a law, as in state law, that required that.
There's the state statute 1414-802 that says I have to have it for the new sales tax.
I've read that one, but this is a law that requires the Quorum Court to review. Now, I don't know what authority we have, but I believe that the law says that all contracts for services must be reviewed by the Quorum Court.
Mr. Russo, sir.
Sir, the Quorum Court is required to approve any contracts that the county does. When Mr. White brought up before, the Quorum Court never approved previously the Metro contract. It was signed between the city and the county judge with no input from the Quorum Court. That's the law it's talked about. The ordinance for the fire departments was brought to light because of the audit, because the Quorum Court had dispersed some money to entities without an enabling ordinance. So my recommendation to the judge and to the Quorum Court, if you all remember correctly, was to establish a contract with various entities that are providing services to the county. So the county would no longer get gigged on the audit for distributing money to either nonprofits or organizations that are receiving county funds. This would include like School of New Hope, Senior Center, fire departments, etc. And that's what the purpose of these ordinances for the fire departments and these other entities are. Once they come before the Quorum Court and you approve it as an ordinance, then we've satisfied and met the requirement for state law. And once it's approved by the Quorum Court, then the county judge and the district clerk would then sign off after you approve those ordinances.
Yes.
Okay, so I understand everything that you told me, but I don't see how we approve the contractor. That's not, you're saying that it's not required for us to approve the contract because there was an ordinance?
No, what I'm saying is, it is required, but the ordinance basically is the contract. The ordinance you're approving is the contract with that entity.
Okay, so which ordinance are you referring to?
Ones that I'm assuming the county judge's office is working on.
Okay, that's the question, is I haven't seen the ordinance.
I saw one the other day that they're working on, and I said it should be good to go to move forward to submit to y'all.
Okay, Matt, one more.
Please, yes.
So before a fire department would be required to sign a contract, the Quorum Court would get to approve the contract?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, where we got gigged on the 21 audit is there have been some distribution of funds to some nonprofits. And it's like I told the judge, the simplest way to fix this is just to put the contract in the form of an ordinance between the Quorum Court, the county, and whatever entity it is,
So like if there's a percentage of the tax rate that's gonna be distributed, it'd be in the form of an ordinance, and then we're done. It doesn't take a lot of legalese. We just have to have something on paper authorizing that expenditure. There is a specific state statute that the county can contract in all these various categories: social services, children's services, senior services, right on down the line, fire protection. And it's under that state statute that I told the county judge, if he gets with the AAC and other counties, there's a simplified format. And it's my understanding they've provided that format to the county.
Okay,
So before I send out contracts to New Hope, to the nursing home, and to the rural fire departments, those contracts need to come here first.
They need to come before the Quorum Court, be approved by the Quorum Court.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
If I understand it, I'm not saying I do, the contract would be between the county and the fire department, not the firemen. And it's basically so that the sign of agreement, yes, we're a fire department, and that allows us to pay them the money, is that correct?
Correct, the quarterly that they get from the sales tax.
Okay, so it's just basically to open up the.
And I have that contract done.
Yes, I.
I have overstepped one step in this process, so I'll be bringing those back to you all, but it reads that 0.07% of the 1% sales tax will be given to the quarterly, should they agree to be in their district and fight the fires there.
The other thing in the contract, there's one little part I didn't understand, where they said the percent that is paid. Is that the percent based off of our ordinance on
Yes, sir.
1800?
Yes, sir.
That was your percent that's coming off of that 1%.
Correct. Split up amongst the 12 rural fire departments.
Yeah, it's not aimed at the firemen.
Yes, sir.
I think we need to check our 0.61% of 1%.
6.7?
It was 0.67%.
Correct.
That's less than 1% of the 1%.
It's the 1% sales tax of the ordinance that splits the 42 to me, the 26 to the sheriff. That's the 1%. So the 0.067 is of that 1%.
Okay, the way that I read it, it was like we were taking a fraction of 1%, but we're taking, is it 67% of the 1%? It is 0.67%,
Correct.
less than 1%.
The 1% is the ordinance that has the 1%
Yeah.
sales tax that's split between us all.
Yeah.
In that, what the rural fire departments get split up between the 12 rural fire departments is the 0.67
That's that.
of their 8% that they get of the 1%.
Okay, they get 8%, but
Of the
each
one-
fire department gets 0.67. Okay.
Correct. But I'll bring that here.
Yeah.
And we can all look it over and vote on it.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Will you have that by September?
Yes, sir. Yes, I have a final draft done right now, and I'll bring it to the budget meeting. Yes. Yes, sir.
And I do have that question too, but the 0.67 is divided by the 12 departments, and is that 0.67 per quarter? Or does that matter if it's a quarter or annually or
It's 0.67 per quarter for the full
per
year.
quarter?
Yes.
So
Because you get 4 payments.
Sure.
Yes.
And so every one of those contracts though will be, like for the School of New Hope, that won't be the same figure.
No.
That's what you're
No,
thinking.
that is a completely different one for them.
Right.
And I'll bring all those to the budget meeting.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
Will that ordinance be approved before we get a chance to look at the contract, or will it kind of be, we look at the contract and then you guys will decide if that's a good contract?
The way I was just explaining to you by council is that we're going to decide here first before it's in. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
It's my understanding that all those monies have already been approved by the Quorum Court for you all to get. It's not going to change those percentages.
Correct.
All it's going to say is the Quorum Court has authorized you to receive X amount of dollars. Now, what the ordinance, the contract's going to say is you agree, based upon the amount that the Quorum Court has agreed to give you, you'll provide these services, period.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the reason that I'm thrown off here is because the 0.67%, I've never seen that before. On this ordinance, we had 13% go into rural fire departments. But you're saying that this is 8%.
5 of that was the PSAT money from the past administration that was put into that part there. That goes to 911.
When we receive in our sales and use tax, there is another ordinance where 5% is transferred from 1801 to 1803, and then from 1803 to 3020. So there's 13% that goes into 1803, but 5% of that ultimately ends up in 3020.
The 5% used to be at the sheriff's office. When
And I
they
have-
ran 911, and then it was moved to the rural fire department when the judge's office took over.
I'll have to think about it.
That's the way it was explained to me. Yes, ma'am.
What happens if one of the rural fire departments don't want to sign this contract?
And they don't get money?
Even though we've already passed the ordinance saying we're giving them money?
Yes, because this is constitutional. The Arkansas Constitution says thou shalt not give unless there's a contract in place.
All right. Good question. Yes, sir.
Is it just divided by 12, or is it based on service area or percent of the county they serve, or just?
It's the same amount to all of them. Yes. And usually in these contracts, it says in the amount of, but on this one, it's the percentage because that could be different monies. Based on what's coming in, so you can't say a set amount of, just for say, like more than $5,000. It has to be a percentage of it, because that's going to change quarterly.
I just didn't know if we had some larger and some smaller service areas or.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, last question. When you say it's for rural fire departments, how many rural fire departments do we have? Is that 12? And which, can you name those? Like, can you name?
Would you like a name?
Yes,
We
ma'am.
got Flippin.
No.
No, sorry, you got Bruno, Hyatt, Peel, Lakeway, High Mountain, Ray
Hold on,
Valley.
Slow down just a little bit. Peel, Lakeway.
I can email you the list.
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
That works. Thank you.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
I'll shoot you that. I'll shoot you a copy of what we have, and we'll bring it to the budget meeting. All right, next is a discussion with Justice Van Kuren to address the charging of a Tesla vehicle.
That, I would drive. I'm happy.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, presentations, Marie Thompson.
No.
How are you doing, sir?
Good, you?
Good.
I can introduce myself, I'm Shane Jimmy. So I'm chairman of the construction and infrastructure on the committee for the Marion County Community Services. And just wanted to give a little short update to our progression in the property and everything else. And just, I want to lead off by saying thanks to the Quorum Court for the purchase of the access property recently, earlier this year. This property has proven to be very beneficial to us. In recent meetings with Energy and the City Department for Utilities and such things, that property allows us to have our own right of ways for the power service, and which will save thousands of dollars worth of permits and permissions from neighbors and such things to that. So moving on to that, we've met with Energy for setting up a temporary meter for future events, 30 and 50 amp hookups for concessions and possibly some events. And then we've also met with a few people about also making a temporary access from the access property that John purchased for us for these events going forward. And also, if y'all have passed by the property, you've noticed that we hired Bass Land Management, who's a local company here right outside of town, to mulch the underbrush for the property line on the access property and also around the pond. That means people probably didn't even know it was there. But now you can see from the roadway all the way to the pond to the backside of the property. So that way, for our future events and more progress that we're going to make, people will be able to see it from the roadway there, and hopefully we can get some of that access property cleaned up, and also signs and maybe post some post some things on bulletin board there so people can stop by and see progress that we're making. But, so yeah, that was a short, brief summary, and just wanted to say thank you again for that access property.
Am I correct in saying that during the eclipse, there's going to be an event out there?
Yes, so we're in the process of scheduling that right now. Next year, April 8th is the eclipse. And as everybody knows, or if you check tags in the news, that this is right in that path.
Oh, yeah.
And we predict that it's going to be a very good event for Marion County. And it's going to draw a lot of attention for folks and hopefully draw a lot of tax money and for sales. So we're going to have a music event out there. It's supposed to be 3 days, 3 nights. We're going to have concessions, and then also we're going to have a craft sale.
2 days.
2 days at the Legion.
That's awesome.
Saturday.
On the same day.
Are you gonna offer camping facilities for these people bringing in trailers?
Go camping.
No camping?
So the events are just gonna be strictly for entertainment, and then Monday for the eclipse, we're, it's in discussion of charging for, then we got a big open field there, people can line up and view, but it's just entertainment.
Because you're gonna be asked
Oh, yeah, sure.
at the presentation at the Aston Overlook, the fellow from the state, who was very instrumental with astrology and everything. And he showed pictures of the last eclipse of farmers that just actually cleaned off fields and rented them out to people with trailers because it's gonna be that big. And that the roads are gonna be blocked with traffic. Yeah.
We don't have the facilities to allow camping. I mean, we don't have electricity for them, there's no sewer, so.
Well, you're not planning another Woodstock, are you?
Turn into that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
A new justice. So could you give me a little history of the committee? How you're funded, who's your membership?
So I'm gonna hand it off to Marie. She's been involved much longer than me. I'm very new to the case.
Yes, the project has deep roots in the community. It started out with a public health initiative where we surveyed the county to see what the health needs were in our county. And we formed committees. The committees all came back. This was workplace health, older adults, aging Arkansans, childhood health. And they all came back and said, we really need a community center to accomplish some of the things that we want to accomplish. So that put our feet on this road. We formed a nonprofit, Marion County Community Services, to start funding. And we've been through lots. I won't go into a lot of details, but just, the general economy of the country, ups and downs and that kind of thing. But we are making some great progress now. And it took us a while to find a location. It took us almost 40 years to find a location. And the Elville Summit Schools gets the Silver Star because they agreed to work with us while we raised the money to buy 24 acres in South Yellow. And that took us another 4 years, but we've got it completely paid off thanks to the generosity of many people in this county. This is all private funds. And then we're hoping to move forward. Like Shane said, we're starting to work on the infrastructure, clear out the property, that kind of thing. We have contracted with ETC, Engineers and Architects, out of Little Rock. We have a public fund attorney in Little Rock. We have contacted Stevens Finance in Fayetteville, and they are all working with us to help us bring a solid proposal forward for you all. And my best guess on a time frame would be probably in the next 6 to 12 months. So we're a ways out yet, because we want to bring something very solid and very thorough forward. This is, as I kind of wrote in the bottom of that report, this is going to be a first. And we have confirmed that. We're going to be, if we can do this, all of us, because it's going to take all of us. There is no, we have lots of people who are going to donate, but we and all other 75 counties in Arkansas, nobody to this point in history has had someone commit millions of dollars to a community center building. The reason for that is because you have to maintain it also. And I would tell you, maintaining a building concerns us as much as building. So we have to have all the pieces of the pie together for you, all of it. So we are hoping to come forward and, like I said, have a solid proposal for you all. We will bring all these people, this will be well planned in advance. One at Church Stone. Well planned in advance. You all, no big surprises. We'll come forward with a whole team of people to talk about everything from the floor plans to the finances and what we're looking to do. So we are looking, the bottom line is for you, sir, and you and I need to meet and talk, and you can meet with Mr. Hutchins too, but, because you were the newbies on the block here. So, but we hope to come forward with a plan for a county-wide initiative, tax initiative, okay? Let me tell you why. And we've done our research, and if any of you all are interested, I have a flow sheet on our research on what's going on in all 75 counties in Arkansas. So if you want that, I'll email it to you. But the bottom line is Marion County, everybody has their own story, but Marion County has no dominant city. All 75 counties, 33 of which do not have multi-purpose community centers, just like us. But all 75 counties, if they have a multi-purpose facility, it is municipal, it's city. And we do not have a dominant city in Marion County. In other words, we don't have a city that can afford to build a small multi-purpose facility and maintain it. So that means, and we have known this for 15 years, that means that we have to come to the county. It's going to take all of us, all the cities, all the people, everybody to pull this out. So at this point in time, we've sent our ETC engineers and architects back to the drawing board for the second time because the first one they brought us was gorgeous, but we cannot afford it. The county can't afford it. We can't afford it because we all pay taxes in this county. But this is what we are looking to do. But I guarantee you, we will do our homework before we come back, okay?
I look forward to reading your project plan.
Thank you. We're just, this tonight was just a simple one. Were there any other questions?
No, I think you're doing great.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I speak with? Okay, so I'm president of the community center in Oakland, and we are actually a multi-use community center.
Yes, yes.
So if you'd like to come out there and take a look around at like the power system and everything, you are more than welcome to.
Well, let me just say this. That's a good point. And let me just tell you, in our research, we had a multitude. Most counties have anywhere from 2 to 5 community centers. Wow. But what we're talking about what our standard was for the research is we're talking about 3 major things: meeting rooms, a gym with exercise facilities, indoor walking track, and then a pool, a therapy pool especially.
We don't have the therapy pool or anything, but we do have exercise stuff and things like that. But you might want to come take a look because we actually have the good open space with the multi-facility. We have post office and water department and also.
No, we'll do that.
Thank you so much.
Could you open that?
We're having a re-grand opening September 2nd.
Does anybody have anything else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm not on the agenda, but I would like to remind everyone that Turkey Trot is coming up October 13th and 14th, so do not forget.
That's right.
Our theme is Ring of Fire, because we're also celebrating the eclipse, because there's an annular eclipse on October 14th. So if you need a booth space, or if you would like to sponsor, let us know.
Thank you very much. Anything else? I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can I thank the court members first? Oh, speak just I want to thank the Quorum board members for allowing us to go forward with the ordinance that we presented tonight, both of them. Y'all didn't have to do it, but I thank you each one for doing so. And Robert, I'd like to note that in the paper that I'm thanking
Oh, yes, sir. Well, I did have a question for Ms. Shipman, Ms. Brigham, I'm sorry. Well, I'm Ron with the Field Fire Department.
Hi, Ron.
And I was just wondering about if there was any discussion, we brought up about the ARPA funds, with our application for that.
The sheriff, the judge and Karen and I met and we talked about a number and I've not heard back from them in regards to that number. Talon, I believe, has reached out and he's waiting for the same thing because people are calling and asking him to.
Sure.
And it's in their court.
All right, well, I'm just showing my interest.
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't blame you because you can't plan without knowing how much you're gonna get.
Correct. And I sat down with Claudia and Karen.
Sure.
And we're looking for a fair number across the board.
Sure.
Yeah, equal.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you have any questions for us, feel free.
Yeah, if we all agree, and please correct me, Jeff, that it isn't fair to give one fire department a large sum of money and use up our funds so that another fire department somewhere else down the line gets nothing.
Zero, yeah, right.
So it's figuring out what that amount of money is
Sure.
going to be, and it will be fair and equal among the rural fire departments.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to Karen and see if we can't move that along, because I know
Sure.
everybody's waiting. You can't make any plans yourself.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Second? All those for? Aye. Meeting adjourned.